to harness the power of the sun and tap into this unlimited fuel supply from the heavens. 100 years ago, the first selenium solar cells brought that effort into the 20th century. The technology which transfers sunlight into electric energy is used in everything from pocket calculators to the latest satellites. General Motors advanced the state-of-the-art in solar-powered vehicles with Sunraycer, winner of the 1987 World Solar Challenge in Australia. GM would use Sunraycer's success as a springboard to challenge future engineers. A solar race for colleges and universities. GM Sunrayce USA. In late 1988, General Motors, the U.S. Department of Energy, and the Society of Automotive Engineers invited colleges and universities across North America to participate in GM's Sunrayce USA. This would be the largest ever race for solar vehicles in the U.S. 60 proposals were received and evaluated, with a final field of 32 teams selected. Sunrayce would challenge students to design and build the race cars while providing them with a broad range of learning experiences.
The neat part of this was they had to work across disciplines, mechanical engineers, material engineers, chemists, electrical. They really had to put together a business case, solve the problems, and then work hard to raise the money to build their cars. Out of it, they've all felt a sense of accomplishment. They all realize it's been a great undertaking, but of course, it's been hard work along the way. That's what the real world is all about. It's tough to get a project done. It's tough to get a car built.
GM Sunrayce USA would take 11 days, cover 1,644 miles, beginning in Florida and passing through Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, and Ohio, and finishing in Warren, Michigan. After months of preparation and testing, the 32 teams gathered at Walt Disney World in Florida in early July for pre-race meetings.
I got two rules for this evening and the following 2 weeks. The first rule is that this is as formal as we're going to get. It's going to be a... And the second rule is much more important. We are going to talk safety, safety, safety. That's the way this event's going to be run, from the start to the finish.
The next morning, the teams converged on the Daytona International Speedway for the first of 3 days of qualifying and scrutineering. The solar cars had to meet rigorous size, design, and safety specifications for the race.
25, okay, slow.
50 General Motors engineers, all volunteers, made sure that each of the entries adhered to the Sunrayce rules. Scrutineering covered electrical and mechanical design.
Drivetrain's okay.
Did you think the suspension looked good? I didn't see any problems with it.
Yeah. Like I said, the only one that worries me is the left front. They don't have a full spread.
Where?
Jan, take a look. What he's worried about is on the inboard end of the axle.
Right here.
Size and weight.
150 is the outside.
Maneuverability. Braking.
It's 40 right on the nose. Leave it down. Leave it down.
And safety.
We're going to count down from 5, and then you can pop out, and you have 15 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Each team approached the challenge of creating an efficient solar car differently.
found out that we were finally accepted into Sunrayce is we sat down and said, okay, General Motors built an extremely good car called Sunraycer and did really well in Australia with it, but they spent all this money and everything. What did they do wrong and what did they miss? And we basically came up with a whole bunch of things that we thought we could do that would improve upon the Sunraycer's design. So we always had Sunraycer as you know, in the back of our heads and said, well, yes, it's a great car, so we need to use some of their technology, but we wanted to do something completely unique and completely different.
With 1 day left before the start, there was barely time to check the last-minute details. On July 9th, the teams assembled in front of Epcot Center at Walt Disney World.
I think the cars are fantastic. It's amazing to me that these kids have been able to put together so many and varied designs. They work real hard. I'm impressed.
I'm sure the sun will give them a good start, and it's a unique process. You know, maybe it's the wave of the future.
GM Chairman Robert Stempel explains Sunrayce's most important goal.
I'm sure the team members will tell you they've learned a great deal about solar power and vehicle engineering from the experience. And most of them told me there was a great deal of hard work involved too. But I'm hoping the boys and girls that watch this race and who will see the race through the 8 states will be excited by what they see and consider mathematics, science, or engineering as a career. We need technically trained people to keep the United States and Canada strong in our race for the future. Now that's what you all came really to see and get started with. So let's get on as we start GM Sunrayce USA. Thank you very much.
With a wave of the starter's flag, the teams launched their 8-state solar odyssey.
It looks like they're ready, so here we go! That first car was University of Maryland, Pride of Maryland. Coming up from Dartmouth College, Sunbox 3, car number 96. Professor Dr. Fraser is in Also from California State University Northridge, Sunseed Laser, car number 0.
Some teams found the first day shakedown cruise involved more shaking than cruising. But in spite of this early setback, the team kept spirits high. They knew that in 11 days of racing, anything could happen.
It's a little demoralizing, but by no means is it going to set us out of the race. It's a very long race. It's an endurance race. All we got to do is get right back in and then get right back to our game plan. We'll be just fine.
The mid-July heat gave the teams an understanding of why Florida was dubbed the Sunshine State. Each race day followed a set schedule. Up before sunrise, cars were permitted to charge batteries using the power of the sun. 2 hours in the morning from 7 to 9 o'clock. A morning drivers' meeting held each day, reviewed the course.
The route for the day in the book, there'll be no need to make any corrections in the route book. It's correct as everybody received it. It's just as a little warning for anybody who hasn't traveled the course. You've got a fair amount of 2-lane from here to Crystal River.
The official race day ran from 9 in the morning to 6:30 in the evening. The starting position each morning was based on the order of the previous day's finish. Solar cars and their support vehicles began the race day at 30-second intervals, with the United States Auto Club as official timers. Sunrayce teams passed a morning and afternoon checkpoint to track progress. At the midpoint of each day's run, a 10-minute pit stop allowed teams a brief rest and a driver change. And in some cases, a surprise for the crews.
How do you feel about coming in second?
We're in second place. I had no idea we were
Right
that
now.
close. I didn't know we were that far up. Right now, we've got more battery power than we had this morning. We've been charging up our batteries as we've been running. So we've been doing a pretty conservative race. We're worried about the weather ahead.
And for Western Washington University, it provided the opportunity to reorient its car to the afternoon sun.
Fine. Fine here. Fine. Beautiful. That win. Win. Woo! Perfect.
Along the race route, the solar cars captured the imagination of old and young.
I think it's grand in the Department of Energy. There's so few things that I think are worthwhile investments on the part of our government, and an investment in these children is a good investment.
At 6:30 p.m. each day, teams were allowed 2 hours of battery charging in the evening sunlight. The teams which had not reached the finish line charged on the road. After the evening charge, the cars were impounded for the night. The Department of Energy presented daily awards honoring the top 3 finishers and recognizing teamwork and sportsmanship. In the spirit of the Tour de France's Yellow Victor shirt, GM Sunrayce USA presented the daily first-place team with the Sunshine Orange Polo shirt and the Chevy red bow tie hat. With the race really consisting of 11 individual daily races, a team's fortunes could change quickly. After finishing first on day 2, the Pride of Maryland saw its battery power depleted on day 3.
We ran hard yesterday, and our batteries are fairly well depleted. And we've also been having some trouble with our peak power trackers getting the energy back from the array into the system. And they didn't seem to be charging just now. So we had to pull over, and we're going to troubleshoot the system and see if we can get some of that power back, because right now our batteries are too weak to go home.
As the team members systematically went over the car, they only had to look to the road to be reminded that their lead was slipping away.
It's dark. It's dark. I'm sorry. No. Anyone actively driving?
Sunrayce proved to be more than a competition between the teams. They were also battling the elements. 11 days of racing subjected the teams to near 100-degree temperatures or heavy rains and thunderstorms, conditions which caused everything from electrical shorts to solar panels warping and excess heat. In some cases, the good news for local farmers was bad news for the Sunracers.
It's been dry for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Up until yesterday.
Yeah,
It's
right.
the first rain in 3 weeks, yeah.
The competitors knew this was a race of science and strategy. The team with the best of both would find itself in the winner's circle. Each day, a different team put together the right plan to earn first place. For the Starduster team from Worcester Polytechnic Institute, success came in the shadow of the new Saturn plant.
We've been off the road for the past day and a half, and so we've had a lot of juice stored up in our batteries, and our main objective today was get the orange shirts. I'd also like to call up Avi Klinger. Avi was also a driver today. He's a team captain, and between the two of us, we got us here today.
Okay, did you get an unofficial time?
No, I don't have an unofficial time.
Unofficial time is about 7 hours.
Not bad, not bad. Hopefully we'll get some good sunlight tonight, get our batteries charged.
Sunlight tonight, huh? That'd be neat.
The win had special meaning for WPI. One of the school's better-known alumni, GM Chairman Robert Stempel, was on hand to present the awards at Spring Hill. And as they neared the halfway mark, some teams found a pep talk was in order.
Everybody's watching us now. We did come in second. So people got to keep it clean, and we could do it. Let's clap again. Yeah.
The teams of GM Sunrayce shared a lot with the earlier auto pioneers. Their one-of-a-kind cars demanded a lot of care and attention. Each night they took what they had learned from the day's racing and applied it to their game plan. Some teams changed strategy, while others worked on the hardware.
What we're doing here is getting a section of photovoltaic cells ready to replace a weaker set on the car.
What happened to the ones on the car?
They were prototype cells, and we were having some problems with them, not getting very much power from them. And Westinghouse made us up a new set here to replace them with to get some more power.
The budgets for the different solar teams could be measured by their accommodations. Some, with extensive sponsorship, stayed in hotels. Many entered Sunrayce with more modest budgets. Support came not as dollars, but from the parents and friends who brought their own motorhomes and prepared breakfast each morning for the team. Some teams slept where they could, while others fashioned an impromptu laundry to dry out after days of rain. The hills of Tennessee and Kentucky provided Sunrayce with a different kind of challenge. These were some of the shorter legs in the race, but the hills required crews to use more of their precious battery power. Small towns along the rural two-lane roads welcomed GM Sunrayce USA with open arms. They allowed their local gas stations and schools to be transformed into checkpoints and pit stops for the young racers. The overnight stop at the GM Corvette plant in Bowling Green, Kentucky was typical of the positive response. It helped the young spectators realize that this indeed was a sport. But in order to compete in this game, you have to know your math and sciences.
I designed the aerodynamics of the car, and in fact, the design that you see is about 80% my design.
I know. Very good, because as a science teacher, I'm very interested in young ladies being in the science field. One of the things we've done is solar cars.
Oh, you have?
And we want to know, I would like to know, if you think that it would be possible for 6th and 7th and 8th graders to make a soapbox solar car.
Definitely. I think a soapbox solar car would be very simple and good, very good distance.
Mornings weren't all work for the teams. There was also time to share some good-natured ribbing over their newfound celebrity status.
It's got your name in it, dude.
Yeah, you're famous.
The spirit of competition heated up in the sunny weather which graced the second half of Sunrayce. The race to Louisville and historic Churchill Downs saw one of the fastest legs. The setting for the finish may have inspired the exciting neck-and-neck competition between Michigan and MIT. The Sunrunner chased the Selectria 7 through the streets of Louisville as they neared the checkered flag. The classic Derby-style finish gave Michigan the roses with a 15-second better time than MIT.
It's a lot more exciting driving the car when you're going above 30. Then in the last couple miles, you know, there are a few teams that were up there. Western Washington was up there. You know, they're in second place right behind us. MIT is in third place right behind us. And to have it come down to 15 seconds was just incredible. It was a lot of fun. It was very exhilarating.
The good-natured spirit of the competition was evident as the two teams compared notes.
Your strategy is kind of, or at least superficially, it appears to be kind of erratic. I don't know. Is that true, or is it?
It's working.
It's working. I can't argue with that.
Why, you guys listening to us?
No, we don't listen to you. We just seem to be in the same vicinity as your car a lot of the time.
Well,
we do our best.
That must mean that yours is erratic too.
The good luck was shared by all the teams. 23 cars out of a field of 32 finished the race in Louisville under solar power, the highest number since the race started in Orlando. Sunrayce made the move from horse racing to horse power as it crossed into Indiana. Destination, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Sunshine held as the teams crossed the Ohio River. Some of the teams opted to take advantage of the good sunlight. The impromptu roadside charge offered local residents a first-hand look at this future technology. GM Sunrayce USA made history by being the only racing event other than the Indy 500 to use the Indianapolis Motor Speedway as part of its official course.
Water on the side.
We wanted
And
Indy.
They stopped us.
We wanted Indy. A little slower than normal, but we won, didn't we?
Oh, it was beautiful. I mean, it was like there were some times where we couldn't use the energy we had due to the speed limits. We were wasting it, just throwing it right out.
Any change in strategy? What are you looking to do tomorrow?
Well, we've got the car all figured out. We took time for one day to sit down and figure out our battery situation and what we'd have to do, but now we understand how it works really well. So from here on out, if it stays sunny, we're going to be pretty good.
With only 3 days left, Michigan held its overall lead, with MIT second and Western Washington rounding out the top three. Morning staging in Indianapolis took on a special significance as the teams lined up 3 abreast in 11 rows, the traditional positioning for the start of the Indy 500. The pace of the morning parade lap may have been a bit slower than its Memorial Day counterpart. More than one driver left the track with a lump in their throat and a tear in their eye. They could now say that they've driven at Indy.
That was awesome out there.
These college teams were making history, and many people wanted to be on hand to witness their efforts.
I saw this on TV. Oh, that's neat. Gosh. That's different. Gosh.
Michigan's team included a weather van with meteorologists. Their input proved as valuable as all the mechanical and electrical engineers. It allowed the team to plan how much power they could use and what kind of sunlight could be expected to recharge those batteries. With only 1 day left, Michigan and Western Washington held a strong grip on their respective positions in the overall standings. Both teams established their strategies as effective and their cars sturdy. Yet both teams remained cautious. The battle was shaping up for third place and the last GM sponsorship to the World Solar Challenge in Australia. Cal State LA, Maryland, and Crowder College were all vying for third overall. The position was still up for grabs as the teams headed for the GM Technical Center in Warren. A sunny morning on the final day of GM Sunrace USA set the stage for a fast finish. The Goodyear blimp was on hand to record the chase as Maryland let it be known that its sights were set on Australia. They opened up a lead of almost an hour on Cal State LA and Crowder as they approached the finish line.
In second place is Western Washington University. They were in the top three the whole time. The third place car is the University of Maryland.
GM Chairman Robert Stempel was at the finish line to welcome the teams to Warren.
Actually, everybody who participated in the race is really a winner because the young people learned a great deal. They've had a lot of hard work, a lot of excitement, a lot of fun. But most of all, they're convinced we really can do more with less. We also hope that many students will see this as a good opportunity and stay interested in the engineering and sciences and mathematics. We certainly need those people at General Motors. So I'd like to add my congratulations to all participants in the Solar Challenge, and we thank you today for joining us at the finish of the race.
Teamwork and sportsmanship. They proved it again and again during the 11 days of racing. The young men and women of the GM Sunrace teams put in the long hours under some pretty rough conditions. They were both students and teachers. As students, they learned the value of teamwork and the skill of problem solving in the real world. As teachers, they taught by doing. They showed an even younger generation of Americans the importance of math, science, and engineering. The teams were even able to impress some veteran GM engineers.
To see the commitment and the excitement and just the technical expertise of the college students working on this, it's really been something.
It's really reaffirmed that there's a lot of terrific things going on in the engineering schools. All the students have been terrific, the way they've helped one another. It's really good to see, and it encourages me.
The blue-shirted Observer Corps gave up part of their summer, endured the long hours, the heat, rain, and general road weariness to help make GM Sunrace USA possible. Michigan, Western Washington, and Maryland earned General Motors sponsorship to the World Solar Challenge in Australia. GM Sunrace USA 1990 was now in the record books. Each and every one of the people who participated knew this was one step in the right direction towards exploring alternative sources of energy, and they were part of history. The three General Motors sponsored teams in the World Solar Challenge made a strong showing down under in November. The University of Michigan Sunrunner finished third overall in the Australian race and had the best time among the American entries. Michigan covered the 1,900-mile trek from Darwin to Adelaide in 57 hours and 24 minutes with an average speed of 32.8 miles an hour. Western Washington took fifth place and Maryland seventh in Australia. Crowder College and Cal State LA also finished in the top 10. And Cal State Polytechnic Pomona took 11th place in the international field of 36 solar cars.